if everyone is aware that July is Disability Pride Month. That coincides with the signing of the Americans with Disability Act. So I just to make that announcement. Are there any other announcements?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I
Roger.
just want to offer public condolence to Mr. Letourneau on the loss of his brother.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, we're sorry.
He had
So
Alzheimer's.
Ugh.
Terrible, terrible.
the terrible disease. I lost my sister to Alzheimer's a couple
Yeah.
of years ago.
So thinking of you, Paul.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
External correspondence. We just today received some, so it's not on the agenda, but we did receive, I just saw in my email, email about the,
St.
did you
Mary's
forward
Church.
this already, Roger? The
Yeah, in other words, I
about
forwarded
the
it
church?
from Molly Griffin at the Architectural Access Board. She had my email address, and
Mhm.
so I then forwarded it to the commission and CC'd her to inform her of the group email list. And
Mhm.
so it had to do with the notice of decision, which was a continuation regarding St. Mary's Church. They are looking for a cost estimate in providing a handrail on each side of the stairs
Share that. Okay.
and a copy of the proposed accommodation policy. So
Okay.
that arrived today,
Yes.
and it was a determination of the AAB from June 17th. Well, no, June 1st. In other words, AAB received it on June 17th. The documents were reviewed by the AAB on 7/1 of 24.
And just say that again, Roger. I just
In
saw
other
it.
words, okay, Architectural Access Board, the AAB.
Right.
Yeah,
And the
so-
determination was that they need to submit a new plan,
Well, a cost estimate
a cost estimate.
and for providing a handrail on each side of the stairs.
Mhm.
So that was the first thing, and a copy of the proposed accommodation policy. So
Okay. Is there anything else that we need to do in terms of responding? It seems like
No,
this
we
is
just
really
wait.
informing us.
We just wait,
We just wait. Okay.
because all we're doing is waiting on the decision. That's all we're doing right now.
All right, great. All right, other than, we did get, at least I got, and I don't know if you all got it, we have to fill out, updated information of all the members on the commission. I just got that email, and we can do that under new business. It's not listed under new business, but we have to, with the new year, the new term, list everybody's name and update contact information on this list. You probably can't see it.
Yeah, but you usually fill that out
I know, but I
as
don't,
the chair.
I'm happy to, but I have to get the information from all of you. I mean, I have your email addresses, but I don't have your phone numbers or mailing addresses all. So you can email them to me, but I was gonna deal with it under new business. We'll circle back to this. Okay. Meeting minutes, forgive me for not having the packet together so that you guys could review the May 14th meeting minutes at the last meeting in June that I missed. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you very much for covering.
You're very welcome. If I had known, I would have made it up, but I just yeah.
I just totally blanked on it. Sorry.
Oh well.
So we have two sets of meeting minutes that we have to go through. And they're attached here and I'm just gonna scroll down to them, but Christy, I assume you have the Word versions to make any edits. Yeah, here, let me go through all this. So we'll start with, sorry, this is lengthy.
All right,
Oh,
so,
wait, why are they not come? Okay, here they are. Okay, so here's May. Can
So
everybody
Matt-
say,
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the draft minutes of our meeting of May 14th, 24.
I second.
thank you very much. Are there any edits that anybody is suggesting or are we, yes, Roger?
I have a couple, on, the fifth page, which is, under new business 7A at the top of page 5. In other words, new
Yeah.
business starts on the bottom of page 4.
Mm-hmm.
So the next page, on the second line, Ray Mead, there's no E at the end of Mead. And, under. Are you there yet?
Already
where
there.
else? Oh, Christy, are you good?
Yep, I already did it.
Oh,
Thanks,
okay.
Roger.
All right, 2 down under C. Catherine Dupierre is vice chair, should be offered the opportunity to chair. I guess if she defers, maybe, I don't know, if she refuses is too strong language.
Okay,
She,
If she
if she
defers
politely declines.
or or if
Okay.
she defers or whatever,
yeah,
if she refuses.
I don't think I would have it in me to flat out refuse. So
And then under D, it says Roger noted that it has tripled in size since he moved here in the 90s. No, actually I moved here in 2000, but I don't know if I mentioned how many years I had been here, but I just wanted to, didn't move here in the 90s, that's all.
let's just say that since he moved here.
Yeah.
She moved
Okay.
here.
That's general and ambiguous enough.
Yeah, and I'm just looking to see if there was anything else on those. No, I didn't have any. And I just wanted to make sure that I don't know if you have a search, and I'm ahead of myself regarding the following minutes, but sometimes AAC, the acronym or the abbreviation, whatever, sometimes gets listed as ACC instead of AAC.
Right. I
So
saw
I
it.
just, so yeah, I didn't notice anywhere in these minutes where that was the case, but it may be worth a look-see. So I have no other recommendations on the May 14th minutes.
Anyone else? Okay, so we had a motion to accept the minutes with these edits. All in favor? Christy,
Aye,
Catherine,
I
Roger,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Alexis, I. Although it says Beth.
You can change that if you want.
I will. I won't bother. You all know it's not Beth. Okay. Okay, and then I'll page down to the next set of minutes from
I-
June 11th.
All right, I move that we approve the June 11th draft minutes of our meeting.
Second,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Any edits? I did see somewhere in this, and I'm sorry, I didn't note it, but I think somewhere in this, it's ACC as opposed to AAC.
Yeah. Yeah, I had noticed under 9B banner for ACC webpage,
Mhm.
actually at the top of the 4th page as well, under item 7 MOD grant improvement grant
Mhm.
program. The top of that following page, second line as procedure the ACC will submit.
Mhm.
That's AAC. And I noticed under old business 9B,
Hold on,
th-
okay.
yeah.
Banner for ACC, got it.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay,
And Madam Chair, if I may just do like a couple more edits.
Yes,
On the very top, calling the meeting to order, it's Vice Chair Catherine Dupree, not co-chair.
well, thank you.
And on the second page, under number 4, Big Truck Day update.
Yeah.
All right, the Big Truck Day update. Second line down, Mike Kennedy from the Center for Living and Working, not Working and Living.
I always flip those for some reason. Thank you.
Sure. The other item I
Yeah.
had, there was only one other one. Under 9, it's under the 5th page, 9J.
Okay,
Catherine Dupuy brought up the town election issues, not town meeting issues,
oh,
because it
thank you.
had to do with town egress at a voting site. So it's town election issues, not meeting. And those are the only edits I noticed.
Roger, would you please, thank you for your patience in doing this. Could you remind me where the first ACC is?
Oh, the first ACC I noticed was on the 4th page top. It was 7. Yeah, okay.
it's right
That
here.
second line down, ACC, yeah.
Okay,
That-
I thought I
and-
got that. Yeah,
All right,
okay.
and
I did.
then 9B was the banner, and so.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
You know, I'm so used to typing QCC, it almost comes like a,
Yeah,
It's just like HIPAA when people want to say HIPPA instead of HIPAA.
right.
People have hippos on their mind. So,
okay, if that's all the edits, we have a motion to accept the minutes.
I make the motion to accept the
no,
minutes.
the motion's already been
We
made and
already-
seconded.
yeah.
Oh,
So I'm just gonna take a roll. So Christy Proctor,
Aye,
okay, Catherine, is it Dupuy? I want to say Dupuy.
It's Dupuy, yeah.
Dupuy. It's French.
And I.
Roger Trahan,
Aye.
Paul Latorno,
aye.
Robert Berger, sorry. And Alexis Henry, aye.
Right, and then, so I guess, yeah, the only thing is then you just simply take draft off and then.
Yeah.
You would link the meeting packet link to the end, which I think you've done before, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, Christie's, when you'll send those to me,
yep, I'll send them to you. I can send them to you in a
or
few minutes.
do you submit them for,
Nope, I send them right over to you.
okay, all
Since
right,
the meeting concludes, yeah.
okay, great, thank you.
And then you send them to the clerk, yeah,
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. cool.
okay. Planning for National Night Out, August 6th is coming around.
Alright.
Is there, Roger, is there any update on the wheelchair tennis?
Well,
idea?
they are on, and I had created an account that needs to be approved, and I'm just in the process of finalizing booking the courts. I can't imagine that anyone has booked those courts already for that particular day and time. But I had received from Tom Dodd from South Coast Wheelchair Tennis Foundation. He should have, I think, 4 athletes there.
Mhm.
2 extra chairs for folks to to sit in that are otherwise ambulatory. And to get the feel of playing wheelchair tennis. And so they'll have ample like banners and signage that we'll put up on the fencing, and he'd asked about a table. And I don't know if we put a table at the tennis courts on the sidewalk or somewhere in the general area. But they wanted to at least have some brochures and information about the organization and USA National Wheelchair Tennis Committee, and such, and about the sport in general. So I guess we can figure out the location at as we approach that date, as long as they know that they will have a space to display
Mhm.
things for consumption as far as literature and information. And then spoke with Mr. Detoma, who had granted access to the athletes for the restrooms. But these are not, this is not a, that venue, the TV station, the GCTV is not it's not open for, public restrooms, but he's accommodating the athletes to not have to traverse far. That's they're very close, to the tennis courts. So
I have a question. Is there a public address system so that we can announce the wheelchair tennis and the participants?
it's a good question. I don't know.
Well, we have code red, but I don't know if they would do that. I think the best bet is to have the selectmen at their meetings keep on talking about it, because we have a couple meetings before this event. So there's at least two meetings before the event.
How about if everyone is on board, through you, Madam Chair, not that you need to take a vote, but if there's consensus that I then, as a designee for this, coordinating this activity on behalf of the commission, ask the select board chair to put this in the announcement section of their meetings, and they're meeting next Tuesday, and then I don't know if they're meeting again before National Night Out, but any other meetings to include that as well. And since it is on school grounds, if everyone's okay with me reaching out to the school committee chair to make and request the announcement for that at any school committee meetings between now and then.
I think that's a great idea. Do we need a motion for that?
No, not necessarily, unless anyone has any objection. I guess we had already agreed and maybe even voted that I would be the designee for this activity. So
Yeah.
this is just more or less an extension of seeing if everyone was in agreement with that plan for me to include that as an extension of my responsibilities to advertise this.
No, I think that's great. Thank you, Roger.
I think it's
You're
good.
welcome.
Madam
cool.
Chair,
Yes, Bob.
I think it would also be a good idea for Roger to reach out to the Grafton News and put something in the Grafton News about
yeah.
this.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a great idea.
Even if we have to pay for it, because you remember, we have $700 just
This is true.
floating around. I can't believe it would cost more than $50 to $100 to put something in, but I think
Right.
it'd be a great idea to get it in the paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't the
They might
Grafton
even-
News have a article, upcoming National Night?
They might even donate some space for it.
Or just have it be an article about
Right.
National Night Out? Is that something we would,
Yeah, I guess on National Night Out, yeah, make it part of that.
yeah.
Roger,
like a
can I,
special
just
thing
one
that's
thing?
happening.
Roger, can I ask you for a ride to this event?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I may have a rollator by that time, so I won't need that wheelchair that you offered me last time.
Oh, okay. All right,
Oh,
well,
I want to add to the conversation. I don't think
Bob.
it's a good idea to roll in what we're trying to do in an article for National Night Out. I think it should be a standalone piece that
Yes,
talks about
okay,
what we're doing. Because if we put it in just, a little snippet of National Night Out, it's gonna get lost.
Yes.
Okay. okay.
Yep.
That's fair enough. And I'm also not shy on using social media to, I know that All Things Grafton seems to be the Facebook page with group with the most members.
yes.
And the most
So-
posts,
Yeah, so
very active.
I'll also do my part in doing that. And they may want to interview as well as a separate story, Tom Dodd, if he's willing, and they're I'll reach out to see what they want to do on that. And if he's willing to oblige to an interview.
Great.
Is Todd Dodd the,
Tom Dodd.
excuse me, I know, who would name their child rhyming first and last name? Tom Dodd, is he the president of the Southeast Wheelchair?
He's the president of the South Coast Wheelchair Tennis Foundation.
Thank you.
Can I ask who's planning on being there? Is everyone going to be attending?
I can't guarantee that I can. It will depend on what my work schedule is. So I think I'm the only maybe.
Yeah, planning going.
Okay, and just remind me, I'm sure, I know we have it somewhere, but what time does it start? It's an
But
evening,
it goes 5 to 8.
5 to 8.
Yeah, they'll the tennis, they'll be there by 4:30. Just to
Okay.
get a lay of the land and get parked and everything and
Will we have a table again this year? With information?
so did we last year, did I reach out to Chief Crapo? Maybe I did.
We did have a table last year.
Yes,
But that's because we reached out to the chief.
ah,
Secured, I can reach out to the chief again. All right. Okay. If everyone's okay with that,
yes.
I'll just email him.
That'd be great. Thank you,
Awesome.
Roger.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Berger, for that. Yeah, I agree about the standalone article. It's important that it does stand out.
You're welcome.
Anything else on National Night Out? Okay, moving on.
I just have one more thing.
Yeah, Paul.
National Night Out is to show that people can be safe in the evening in the community. Is that correct?
Yes.
So is there a chance that we could ask the various churches to announce that from the pulpit as a public event? I don't know.
How
I mean,
it's really organized by the police department, right?
yeah,
They take the lead on it. How do they get the word out?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Okay, I'm
don't
just
know.
curious.
National Night Out is a national day across the country.
Yes,
So the news 4, 5, 7, 25, they all talk about it.
yeah,
So I don't think we have to go and do anything out of the ordinary. I think what we're doing is just trying to participate in
Yes,
National Night Out.
okay.
And I think the our efforts with social media as well, and then print media, the Grafton News, as well as the athletic, the banners and signage, because the parking lot for the high school will be used, that will be visible, and hopefully people will notice that. So. But perhaps I'm thinking, because we're hosting them, maybe I'll ask for a second table, or whatever, so that they can be sort of partnered with us in the same location.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Roger.
You're welcome.
Okay, old business. How did Big Truck Day go? And I'm really sorry I missed it. I came back from family wedding where I spent a week with 13 people in one house. I came back and I was sick for a couple of days and I literally totally forgot about it. Kind of
It went
went to
well.
bed real late.
I know Mr. Berger can attest to that. I was remiss on proper signage, but through calling people's attention who were in the area to Mike Kennedy's adapted minivan, his modified minivan. A lot of people really, it drew a lot of attention. It was a good educational piece. A lot of the kids, climbed in and played around with the hand controls and sat in back and were, it was a decent amount of interest, and really appreciate Mike Kennedy for you know being there for the entirety. So. And I guess I would like to volunteer my if you want to, I guess I'll move that I on the commission's behalf send a thank you letter to Mike Kennedy for
Absolutely.
his volunteer efforts. So motion is made by me to send that letter on behalf of the commission.
Second,
Okay.
All in favor? Just do a quick roll call. Krista Proctor,
Aye.
Catherine Dupuis,
Aye.
Roger Trahan,
Aye.
Paul Letourneau,
aye,
Bob Berger,
aye.
Alexis Henry, aye.
Alright.
Thank you, Roger.
Oh, you're welcome.
We would have got more if we had signage. At
Yes.
one point, people thought that it was just a van parked there. And then they realized it was part of the displays or the exhibits,
Mm.
and they all loved it. The parents loved it. The kids loved it. It was good.
So that's on me. But notwithstanding there was a great there's a good educational piece. A lot of people were really appreciative and they were like, oh, it was a really cool thing. It wasn't just about big trucks, it's about all vehicles. And Mike had parked himself in one of the accessible spots, and his access aisle, he parks himself so that he exits on the passenger side. So the access aisle was to his right, and as we were talking to the community members, you know, we were explaining that, yeah, this is an extension of the space. This isn't just some random striped lines, diagonal lines. And that it's important that people don't park here. And a lot of people really didn't know what an access aisle was. Everyone sees the space and then the signage for the accessible spot. A lot of people really didn't know. And and so we pointed out that in different areas, you can see that on another spot across from the sidewalk was a spot that had a passenger side and a driver side access aisle, and that
Mhm.
depending on how people, get in and out of their vehicle, they would have the option to choose either in that particular spot. And so a lot of people really didn't, that was new to them. So it was
Mhm.
pretty neat. But yeah, next year, if we can get either Mike again or someone else, if he's unavailable, I'll make sure that there's proper signage. I think we would have gotten a lot more people, but it was well received.
Well, just lessons learned for next year.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Grafton Common parking.
I've got an update.
Good for you, because I had a little update too.
All right, let's hear, wait a minute, I
No,
want to hear
no,
your
you got-
update.
I just happened to be hanging out with my friend Bill Nicholson, who is on the Historical Commission. And I know that he got a call from Kevin Gallagher while I was sitting there asking about what's going on with that parking space on the common and which parking space is it? So I
Was that
happened to
today?
be there and I said, let me tell you which parking space we're talking
Was
about.
that today?
That was today. That was this afternoon.
So I had a meeting with everybody up there today.
Good.
And this is the first time, Roger, that I've seen what you guys are talking about.
Okay.
That parking space for anybody with disabilities is the worst parking space that you can have.
It's a
It
mess.
dips and there's an old fire hydrant pipe that protrudes out of the ground. I don't know if you knew that, Roger, but there's a pipe that comes up.
I thought it was a gas line, so
No.
that concerned me. So is
Yeah.
it operational still or?
Well, it's probably part of the system, but it might be abandoned. But there's no way to fix that spot. They just can't do it. So what we're gonna do, and it's gonna happen in like 2 days, or maybe tomorrow, is they're gonna abandon that, they're gonna paint over, and that's not gonna be the handicap spot anymore. They're going to, you have the handicap spot here, then you have the sidewalk hash mark, and then you have another space on the left-hand side of the original. They're gonna move the handicap over to the left and they're gonna hash it out. So now you're gonna have a hash mark on the left is going to be the legal hash, and you're gonna have the sidewalk hash on the right. And I
Oh.
think that they decided to not have this one diagonal. This one's gonna be straight because there's enough room to maneuver your car. So that gives anybody the opportunity to pull in or back in. And the sign is also being moved over. So everything is gonna happen in the next 2 days.
Awesome. And that's
That's
van accessible?
awesome.
That they're making it van accessible
Awesome.
under ADA, not MAAB.
Right.
Mhm.
So there might be some dimensional differences there, but the highway department only knows ADA.
All right. So let me ask you this. So who was up when you said you met a bunch of people? What that was it, like Paul Canoia and
I
them?
had
And
Paul Canoia, I had Kevin. I had Paul, Kevin, I had Brian, and the two guys that actually do the painting. So I met 5 people up there today.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this. So if that's going to be abandoned as an accessible space,
Yep.
just to make sure that we don't, I mean, to the extent that we're talking about it now, I would hate for anyone to sort of get hurt because it remains what I think is I mean, the dip and the thing protruding could present a tripping hazard.
Yep. They can't do anything with the dip because they're gonna repave that when it's not on the board. It's not on the
Okay.
board to repave it, but I think he said he was gonna take that pipe and get rid of that pipe and put some patch over it.
Oh,
So the
cool.
pipe's gonna go away,
Just
Awesome.
but the dip is
Level
gonna
it up.
stay because Brian eventually is going to redo that
Okay.
entire section. But
Awesome.
we can't wait for them to
Right.
fix that to
Right.
have a good spot. So they came
Right.
up and said, well, let's just move the spot. So boom, it's done.
Awesome.
So will the spot still be close, Bob, to where that side entrance is?
It's gonna
into the
be, it's gonna
common?
be, yeah, right now.
Just
that
on the
side
other side
entrance,
of it.
The spot's on the right, now the spot's gonna be on the left.
Okay,
So it's just going over one spot over. And they're not gonna make it diagonal, they're gonna make it straight in because there's enough room to pull yourself straight in. That's gonna give enough for the hash on the left, and then they have the sidewalk on the right. So they have an option now of going in and out of that vehicle, left or right.
mm-hmm. Great. Good job.
Thank you, kind sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Berger.
You're welcome. You get a hand up.
Okay, that's, I'm gonna look forward to seeing that change. Yes, Christie.
Real quick, I have Paul Canoyer, Kevin Gallagher. What's Brian's last name, Bob?
I'll email it to you.
Oh, sh-
It's
Okay.
Oh, is
it's a tough one.
Is that Zerko?
Yeah,
All right.
Oh, I got it.
okay.
Okay. Well, I'll misspell it intentionally so that there's something to edit next time. Anyways, okay, this is great news.
Yeah.
Ah, we've been talking about this one for a while.
Well, I said I would get into it and I never had the opportunity to make the phone call, so I made the phone call today. So I kind of got pressured into it because I knew the meeting was tonight.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, well,
When
great.
that's done, I might just take the liberty of taking a picture of that improvement and announcing that on like the All Things Grafton and my own Facebook. Just to
Yeah.
say now you have, access. A a relocated spot that is also more accessible.
Roger, why don't you take a before and after picture
Okay.
and thank, I forget his name, who brought it to our attention.
Probably in our
is it-
minutes somewhere.
Oh, what's
Is it Scott Ricker?
Scott Ricker?
Thank you. I was
You're
gonna
welcome.
say Steve Rickers. Yeah,
Nope.
yeah.
And also Mr. Berger for following this up.
Well, I don't know if you want to do that.
You're gonna
Why
have to
not?
go through his agent.
No, that's not what I mean.
I'm teasing.
Okay, great, great. Moving on. ADA grievance procedure.
I can speak to that for a minute because I had some homework on that and I didn't have time to do anything. I'm inundated with permits right now. I wanted to get this on OpenGov and then bring something back to the committee. It did not happen. It's still on my list of things to do, but I've got 1,000 dwelling units that I'm in the middle of permitting and issuing, and people are trying to move in. So I got overloaded. I can apologize for that.
Okay, we'll just
Okay.
carry it to the next month's agenda. All right. I believe the ADA improvement grant was submitted. I had a chance to chat with Roger a bit, and Roger, were you able to, you said you did submit a letter?
I submitted the letter. I modified a recent letter that
Yeah.
we had done. And I submitted that to William Blake. And he had indicated that at the time that I submitted it, it was prior to the deadline. And he had already submitted the application, but was going to proceed and add it to the materials. I guess in the past, it was very strict where everything was done by the portal and you couldn't add once you
Mhm.
submitted something, even if you wanted to submit things before the deadline, additional information, you couldn't. But it's my understanding that things could be added. So William was proceeding in that direction to include our endorsement.
Right. And when are they supposed to hear about it?
Before
It's
the end
soon,
of the
isn't it? It's-
fiscal year. In other words, already, right? Because they wanted to
Yeah, I thought-
encumber it before the end of the fiscal year. And since we haven't heard anything by now, I'm not sure what that may mean. I don't recall whether or not the MOD goes to the further effort of affirmatively communicating that you haven't gotten the grant. Does anyone recall in
No,
prior years whether we've received communication that we weren't awarded? If we were awarded, I would have hoped that that anything which would delay that communication would have been due to the holiday, and that they would be communicating things soon. So I'm drawing a blank. Who is the MOD contact? Our guy.
I know who you're talking about, and because you couldn't remember, now I can't think of it. I've typed his name a ton of times.
Is
Rob,
it was it
Rob.
Mark?
Is it Rob?
It isn't Mark Lester. No, that's it. No, that was. Oh, Jeffrey Dugan.
Jeffrey Dugan.
All right. I could reach out to Jeff Dugan and ask about the status of the that application. That was for a counter for, was it the planning office, Bob, or was it the
No.
clerks? No, which was it the, no,
if it's for the $250,000, we have 4 more counters to put in town hall. And the next one
Okay.
that we wanted to grab was the clerk's office because that's gonna be a big one.
all right, so that was the clerk's office was the loan request.
I think they just, I'm not sure what William put in because he
Oh,
didn't
okay.
share that with me, but in the past, he was just putting in. Of course, I haven't seen any of the past ones, service counters. And they're
Okay.
about $50,000 a piece, and there's 4 of them, or
Right.
5.
Okay. On a similar note, I guess as a best practice, moving forward, it has occurred to me, but we really haven't, I didn't bring it up. We haven't really talked about it at all, is that when we, in a particular meeting, vote to have a letter of endorsement sent out on behalf of the commission, whoever does that or whatever, that it doesn't get memorialized anywhere. And maybe the way to do it would be under old business. Maybe we add an item, AAC correspondent, outgoing or correspondence, something that then would memorialize that document as part of our meeting packet, that it would be somewhere, because right now there's, other than that the letter goes out, we really don't have a repository
Mhm.
for this correspondence. Not that we would all of a sudden like create one and dig back and put all of them in there, but at least on a case by case basis, by having it in the next meeting packet would be a way to at least have it housed somewhere. Right now it's housed nowhere and no one can really tell, other than reading through the following minutes, that something went out.
But we, Roger,
So-
we don't even know what, the administrative letter even looked like. And what their ask was. I don't know if we even got their letter that we're trying to endorse. Or their grant that they're trying
Right.
to endorse, or their grant application.
I thought it had, I thought I simply kept it generic regarding counters.
Right,
In-
but if
in-
we had, if we're
Right.
gonna endorse something,
Uh-huh.
then we should at least get a look that we
Right.
can grab of
Sure.
their grant application.
Right.
So then we can endorse that, and then that packet would be part of the next week's or the next time we met, and that's how we can keep track of something.
Actually, that's an even better idea because it's more comprehensive and incorporates our endorsement, but it's all brought together as one.
Right,
That's a better idea. Thank you,
Mhm.
Bob.
you're welcome.
All right, then we can just, I guess, moving forward, I guess we can just be more diligent in making sure that we get those documents.
So I'm thinking of other times when we've written letters of support. We did one for the rec department, right?
Mhm.
A while ago. Or
I think
didn't-
a lot of that was in the context of town meeting warrant articles to seek community preservation funds.
No, I'm just wondering if we should, are you suggesting, Roger, that anytime we write a letter of support, whether it's
Right.
for a grant proposal or some other action that we want,
Yes,
we
and what
want a letter of support coming from the commission to include that in our minutes?
what Mr. Berger was saying is that by including, even if whether it's before the fact, but certainly after the fact, under the prior business or old business, that when we discuss things as having occurred,
Mhm.
that the actual grant application or whatever documents that are seeking money from whatever source, that is coupled with our endorsement letter as sort of a little mini packet within our meeting packet for that night.
Mr. Chair, or Madam Chair,
Thank you. Yes.
I think that it should be incorporated in our approved minutes for the next meeting.
The entire thing, I'm just,
Yeah,
imagining it.
the entire ask that, whatever they're asked, the application, let's call it the application or the ask for our endorsement. On the next meeting, we have the endorsement,
Mhm.
we have the ask, and that's part in their PDFs, and that can be part of our vote on the minutes on the next meeting.
Yes.
And that's how we can keep track of everything.
And
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry, Madam
No,
Chair.
Go ahead,
sorry.
Roger.
No, I just to add to what Bob is saying is that what this would do is right now you currently working with Christie, when the minutes get approved and the meeting packet link
Mhm.
is there, that simply incorporates that information which we would have in advance of a meeting. This would simply then, when the meeting minutes of whatever that meeting occurred are submitted, that little mini packet get attached to the minutes that are approved. So
Right,
you'd be combining PDFs so
Right.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and would we typically be able to access a copy of, in this instance, the proposal that went in? The grant proposal for the ADA improvement grant. I mean, would we, are you suggesting the complete proposal along with our letter would be in our meeting minutes?
I
Right,
am.
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
typically would we be able, I mean, just thinking if there may be other instances, other types of proposals, would we always expect to be able to access the proposal packet, the full?
I think we should.
And I would add that a lot of times by default, it is in there because most of our endorsement letters have arisen not only through the MOD grant applications, but through community preservation. So the CPC meetings, the Community Preservation Committee meetings, which have constituted a significant number of the items for which we have endorsed, have been online in advance of their meetings as part of their meeting packets.
Okay, so
And
it's relatively easy to get that.
It should be.
Okay.
It's just that there has thus far been no really, that I'm aware, a repository for the actual grant applications themselves. It's only when projects have been part of CPC, Community Preservation Committee, that I've extracted those documents and have included them in our meeting packets in the past. But we would have to be more diligent. And so your question is answered yes and no. To the in the context of community preservation documents, those are frequently seen in their meeting packets.
Mhm.
But as far as the municipal grant MOD program, those I typically have not seen as been posted online. The application itself.
Right, is there a repository? So, I mean, I think,
Unless we're the co-applicant, there are times where we were the co-applicant,
right,
and in that context, we were part and parcel to the actual process. So we were seeing this document in real time.
right. But there may be instances where we're writing some letter of support or endorsement for some activity. May or may not be a grant proposal. I wonder, Roger, if what you're suggesting also is that we have a way of archiving letters of endorsement that come from the commission,
Right.
whether they're a grant proposal or some other town-related activity that we want to write we want to write a letter.
Right.
Maybe
It-
we would have decided to write a letter about the parking space. I just like that we have a way of archiving that. Is that what,
Yeah. In other
so that
words,
we
it
can
doesn't.
access it? that
Right.
Because we are writing a letter of agreement with a proposal, so we should see both.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying there may be instances where we write a letter about something that's not a grant proposal.
Or
That's all.
even something as routine as a thank you, like a thank you to like Mr. Kennedy, or a thank you
Yeah,
to
Exactly.
an outgoing
Exactly.
commission member.
Yeah,
And
Exactly.
we could contain that in old business, and that documents in the meeting packet that it actually went out pursuant to like a vote of the prior meeting.
right. Oh, sounds like a good idea.
Cool.
Do we need a motion about this?
No, it was just I was just recommending some a best practice.
Yeah,
I don't think it needs a motion unless we were to somehow come up at some future committee or subcommittee activities about sort of policies of the AAC. We
mhm.
could possibly incorporate that sort of practice in whatever documents we eventually create.
All right, sounds good. Christy, did you get all that? All right, moving on. Everyone has been reappointed for the coming year, everyone who is currently on the commission. But we do have one vacancy, is that, do I need to be reappointed? Am I interim? Was a little
No.
unsure.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I can go on.
Am I an interim chair? I was filling out Rob's term.
No,
No,
no, you aren't. No, Rob had his own term. and that's the vacancy that exists where
Okay.
his vacancy,
Question.
his term would have ended anyway on 6/30 of 24.
Right,
And-
his term would have ended this month or last month.
Yeah,
Right.
your term ends on the 2025.
Right, no, I know, I had another year to my membership on the commission. I just,
Oh.
So
unless,
Christie got
does anybody
reappointed.
else want to be chair? Am I continuing?
Well,
Oh,
you
that's
can't, well,
right.
but you can't do that. You're not, it's not on the agenda.
Oh,
So
All right,
if-
well, do we want to put it on? I'm just, well, we have, it is memberships and roles. Is vaguely on the.
no,
Oh.
you gotta put reorganization. So
Yeah.
if you
I'm not-
know what, do it for next month because it's a good exercise anyways.
Okay,
And you will definitely be the chair.
I think you're doing a stand-up job, and
thank you,
the
Rob.
cool thing is that Catherine stepped up. I'm always willing to be back up. You know what I mean? We we're a good team here.
Right,
That's a
one-
little nudge for you to stay on.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me how to get into the webinar that started today.
You're right.
I'm gonna put that in the minutes to myself, note to chair, don't forget how to get the right webinar started.
Yeah, Alexis was at the head of the meeting. I called her, and she's waiting for the host to start. I'm like, Alexis, you're the
You are
host?
the host, but I have to get in a different way. It's not my
Yes.
meeting invite. If it were my meeting invite, this would not be confusing to me.
Right,
But I
right.
don't own the meeting invite, so,
Right. And so all you need to do, Alexis, is when you're logging in, and you can actually do a preview anytime,
yeah.
and log in, and you can see at a future meeting what series of 12 we're in. I think
Oh,
we're
that would be
like
good. Good thing to
maybe
do, Roger. I don't know where I didn't check that.
we may be at 9 right now. The town administrator select board's office does not police those expiring Zoom
Yeah.
series. Each committee is responsible for monitoring where they are in that series of 6 or 12 or
Mm.
however many. So,
Okay, I will check that for our next meeting and make sure. One, that I know how to get into it, I won't forget. And where we are in our sequence. But we do have a vacancy, correct? We have a vacancy for one.
yes. yeah.
Um,
May I ask that, Madam Chair, I think, as I'm on our web page,
mhm,
as we advertise, and I can even throw something up on social media,
mhm,
advertising the vacancy,
mhm.
noting also that, for someone to get a flavor of what we do, to look at the town, our annual report.
Mhm.
And I'm just looking to see whether or not what the latest annual report posted to our commission website is. Hold on, Accessibility Advisory Commission. Annual town reports.
It's
Right
not
now,
up.
the most recent one is 21, so we still need
Mhm.
to add 22 and 23
Hmm.
to that.
Who adds that?
Who has I mean, I have the,
It's gonna be William.
Yeah, but I have it as a separate document,
yeah,
or I could extract it from those pages of the town report that's online as the larger document.
mhm.
Um, so shall I send that to you or maybe directly to William? In other words, extracting the 2022 and 2023 and requesting that that they be placed on the committee's webpage, just so when we're advertising the vacancy, people can see what we've done currently.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I ever saw standalone the final report, just how it was in court, because I think Rob submitted it.
Okay,
Answer your question, Roger. I think you should send it directly to William.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. If everyone's on board with that, I'll do that. And then, and then hopefully if that's done on the quick, we don't necessarily need to have that link, but it's, it's a nice touch for that to be current, so people know the type of things we've been working on.
Roger, can you CC me when you?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I'm wondering if maybe this would be something to put on All Things Grafton.
Yes, yes.
I just
Yeah,
recently,
well, I wanna mention something.
Yeah.
You know, we're running off the rails a little bit because, you know, I don't know if the administration wants us to jump on social media to do our town business. So that's something that I can't endorse. I
Okay.
mean, you know, this All Things Grafton that's not a government sanctioned. I don't even know if sanctioned is the word, but that's not the government. That's private sector.
No.
So I think that there's something in policy that says we shouldn't be doing that. I mean, we should be sticking with our social media and not taking something and going into social media. Now, do anything you want as an individual,
Mhm.
but as this committee, I don't think that's what we're supposed to be doing.
And
So-
through you, Madam Chair, I'll agree with those statements. I know that there can be a fine line. What
Mhm.
my frustration has been is that that it kind of gets buried. You know, you have to go levels deep unless something is prominently advertised as new and something quote unquote important on the town website or even social media accounts, that there's so many levels of clicks that you need to go through to really even find the various vacancies.
Mhm.
And so I'm just trying to build a better mousetrap to find a way to uh, prominently advertise this and sort of unbury it from the mix of the other board and commission vacancies. Not that those vacancies aren't important, but um, we're trying to fill this vacancy.
Right.
So
And I wonder if, there may be people in the town who would be great additions to this commission, but they don't necessarily, they may not know that there is a vacancy, because I don't know that I would think of going to the town. I mean, I go to the town website to find out, is the dump open? Yeah. I mean, I think people go to the town website looking for kind of very specific information for a specific question that they have, but it might
Mhm.
not be, they may not think of themselves as someone who could contribute to a group like this. And Bob, I totally hear what you're saying. I'm wondering if there's someone in authority in town government who would weigh in on whether, because I think we would just be letting people know that there's a vacancy. They would still have to go through, of course, the regular process of applying and being approved to be on the commission. So whether it's, All Things Grafton or other ways through social media, we're not, I mean, I'm just raising the question, is there?
I-
Is there,
Madam Chair, I'll just quickly mention as a follow-up to my earlier comment that it seems that with the new format recently adopted on the webpage,
Mhm.
there is all these circles, agendas and minutes, online permitting, this and that. There are volunteer opportunities. So
Yeah.
volunteer opportunities, it says proceed to the separate site, and it then links to the committees. And there's a highlight area on all the boards and commissions where there exists at least one vacancy.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of then what do you do? In other
Yeah.
words, what is this commission? What does this committee do?
yeah,
And-
but it's
and
not
this
a
is-
push. It's not a push out. People have to be looking for it.
People
so.
have to be looking for it, and I think that the town, a particular committee or board's annual report, just reading the most recent report, I think can give someone a really good flavor of the nature and extent and scope of that committee's work.
Mhm.
That doesn't exist anywhere else. That's all.
No, I totally agree, and I wouldn't, I'm just saying that someone would have to be specifically looking for this opportunity, specifically looking to the commission.
Right.
And again, I'm just thinking that there may be people who, with a push, was like, oh, do you know about us? And, we have a vacancy, might think, oh, this would
I-
be something, they might not
I agree with you.
have to
95%
think
of
about it. And I just, does the town ever
Hmm.
kind of use social media to?
Well, I don't know the extent to which they use it, Madam Chair, but I know that frequently enough on the announcements
Mhm.
portion at the head of the select board meetings, they do mention generally that
Yeah,
vacancies exist on numerous boards and committees.
yeah.
They do.
And so that is a plus. But I would say that 95% of everything I've ever volunteered with dating back 30, 35 years has been a one-on-one ask. Someone has come up to me and say, do you want to volunteer for bingo at Seven Hills? Do you want to do Rodman Ride for Kids? Do you want to, how about finance committee? Was my big step into the fray in 01, but it's been a one-on-one ask. So
Yeah.
maybe we can just kind of brainstorm ourselves and maybe give some people a nudge to go to that link and apply for the vacancy.
Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, Bob.
Roger, I think we could also tag on with Grafton News with the tennis.
Oh, okay.
And then actually put a little blurb in there saying that we're short a member and we'd love to hear from somebody.
Okay.
That might help if we're in the paper.
Right.
I
Okay.
Couldn't
don't-
we
I
just
think
say
that would be the way to
need your
go.
help?
I'm sorry, Paul, I talked over
Good.
you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Couldn't we just say in that blurb that we need your help?
Well, yeah, but I think
Very
Roger
simple.
might get some better words than we need your help. I think we have to entice them to step forward.
Mhm.
Well, okay, but if a person is interested, they may ask the questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's my thought on that.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea, Bob, to, because if we get an article in the Grafton News, it'll be, the Accessibility Advisory Commission is sponsoring the wheelchair tennis exhibit, whatever we're
Yeah.
using it at you know,
Exhibition.
Exhibition's the
exhibition
word.
at National Night Out, and just a sentence, this is the mission of the accessible, it could be like mostly about the wheelchair tennis, and then a sentence that says, the mission of.
No,
The
I think it should be
is to-
more. I think Roger should give it more.
Okay.
Meaning this is what we do. This
Yeah,
is how we try to get the word out to people that are interested in helping out and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yep.
I can put some high level talking points together and reach out to them as well on both the wheelchair tennis for National Night Out and the vacancy. And so if anyone is and I think we'd already spoken about under the Planning for National Light Out that I reach out and ask the select board and school committee to include it in any interim announcement section of their meetings.
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Okay, so next month we'll include in the agenda just organization of the commission as an agenda item. All right, just reminding everybody, moving on, just reminding everybody of conflict of interest training. If you haven't done it yet, please do it. And submit it to the town clerk. New banner photo. This is on me and I have not done anything about it. I'm sorry to say, but I will do something about it before the next meeting. Other old business? Anything that I have forgotten, not included here?
I'm just trying to, Madam Chair, there was a, just looking quickly through. I don't think there's anything that was in the prior meeting minutes. In other words, we had two sets of meeting minutes that we
Yeah,
approved tonight's from May and June.
yeah, I
and,
did go through them when I was putting together the agenda.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't see anything that I should have included, but
No, I think
That's what I've got on there.
we're,
yeah,
yeah, I think we're good to go then. All right, thanks.
okay. New business. So there was clearly a discussion about new development projects going on in town. And, it was a little, I guess there's the snow road, we had the snow road thing, but there's a couple on Upton Street, is that right? And there's a couple on Pleasant Street and Mr. Berger enlighten us. There.
We have 1,000 units coming into town.
Yeah, I heard about it.
So, and do you guys have an opportunity as our committee? I don't know. As a committee member, I get the plans, I review the plans to make sure that they're
Mhm,
MAAB, meaning so many have to be
mhm.
type 1, so many have to be type 2. I don't think that you're going to make anybody put in more than they really need, but you can always ask. I don't know what else we can ask for. I haven't even seen the plans, so I don't even know if they're offering playgrounds. I don't know if they're offering walking trails yet. So maybe we can ask once we get a set of plans and we look at them, what can we ask? I don't think you're going to get anything on the inside, but you might get something on the outside if they're offering some sort of amenities that go with the complex. Like if they're offering a playground, that's when we can weigh something in. If they're offering a walking trail, that's when we can weigh something in and
Mhm.
have it mean something. But I think that would be wasting our energy if we wanted them to up the scale on percentages between type 1 and type 2 units.
Mhm.
Through you, Madam Chair, adding to Mr. Berger's comments, I think that Pleasant Street may have had something regarding a playground in their initial design. And the other thing was that I think many moons ago, maybe I'm talking like a year, Bob, you had mentioned, I think that, and we may have been talking about the Prentice Place behind Radish's, about how a developer can't sort of parse things out per building, that it's a total number of units that are the basis for which the number of type 1 and 2 units is determined. Am I right about that?
You're right.
All right, so they can't say, well, this building is 8 and all these buildings are 8, so we don't have to comply. They add everything together And then that determines the total number. All right,
That's correct.
all right. So do you know what, if it is a single, and I don't want to make it sound like a trivia question, Bob, but if there is just one building, let's say an apartment unit building.
Yep.
And I'm going to use the example of the cut through that is near the old Polish Hall. It was like 8 units, I want to say, condos maybe. I don't know if they're rentals or condos,
Those are condos.
but rental units or,
No, they're condos. They're condominiums. They're they're owner occupied.
all right, so when a situation is done like that, and I think it was 8 units that ran between 122 and 122A. Is for owner occupied, is there, because it's like even though it's 8 units, it's really one contiguous
Hold on.
building.
Let me interrupt you because
Yeah.
I'll get it. I'll get us there. Okay.
Yeah, please.
If it's a condominium, then we have no say.
Okay,
Because they don't have to do anything,
okay,
right? If they're leased, then leased, rented, however you want to say it, then 20 or more, you now have to start complying with mathematically the
Alright.
chart.
all right,
So 5%, 2%, whatever the number is, has to be
Okay.
number ones, has to be number twos. Number one is basically, it has to be modified. If it needs to be modified, it has to be ready to be modified without disassembling, meaning it just needs to have all the blocking in the wall, right? And the other one, the number twos, they have to have a bigger floor plan so a wheelchair can maneuver easily. And there's another thing, if it has elevators or if it doesn't have elevators.
okay.
You know, you don't have to have elevators if you have your numbers on the first floor.
Okay. Gotcha.
It gets kind of complicated,
All right.
but with these larger projects, the building department is taking the bulk reviews and they're putting them to a third-party reviewer. So we have specialists that actually review the different disciplines of these buildings. Because
You
there's
had-
so much involved in these buildings.
You
now.
had mentioned that before, Bob, and I forget who we have that there's someone that is looking at the accessibility piece.
Yeah, her name, she works for the Moriarty and Associates. Her name is Deb Ryan.
Okay.
You can look her up, and she flies back and forth to Washington once a month because she's on the presidential appointee for the ADA Commission for the federal
Okay.
government. So
Cool.
she's like right up there.
That's good to know, so that we're not reinventing the wheel, that there's someone that is on top of these reviews with
Yeah.
respect to accessibility.
Absolutely.
All right.
This is just really for my own curiosity. These are all of these development projects are going to be rentals, they're gonna be leased? Or are they the ones that we're talking about right now?
I know Snow Road is going to be leased.
Mhm.
I don't know about, well, Pleasant Street and Snow Road. I thought that they were the same developer. And then Upton Street,
Cause one is like right across from the fire station, right?
Yeah, that's
is
the
one
Upton
on
Street
Upton
one.
Street or more than one?
I think there's two on Upton Street. There's one by the old nail shop that burnt down.
Right,
That's
okay.
one. And then
Where
the other one-
Sibley comes into.
Yeah,
okay.
and then the other one on Upton is the old DPW. And I think that one's leased too. So I'm gonna say these three, I think, are all leased.
So are they intended to be affordable housing? You know, and I'm just bringing this up because when we talk about accessibility, I think we're all just talking about like physical accessibility.
Yeah, we're talking what this
Accessibility is
committee
also
does.
About
Right.
affordability, is that also an accessibility?
Well, Yeah, because they're under the 40B, if I'm not mistaken. And either that or they're the LIP program. So even, you know what, even if they weren't under the 40B or the LIP, I can tell you that we just permitted Pulte's 2 Winslow Lane 50 unit building. And I'm just pushing out all the COs, 50 individual of them. And I'm looking at on their COs, affordable and market rate. So I'm actually seeing affordables on that complex, which is the 4-story, 50 unit building. So we are getting affordables all over town.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Mr.
Affordables.
Berger. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
So,
ahead.
So, Mr. Berger, does that also mean that in that affordability, that someone could, let's say, use a housing voucher?
I can't answer that question.
Okay, that's an affordable housing trust, probably a question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
But just to piggyback on that, in that 50 unit building, I have designated type 1s and type 2 construction on that building.
And
Where is that?
Where's that
Th-
again? Bob?
That is by the train station,
Oh, yeah,
Institute Road.
that's a
Oh, yeah.
huge development, unbelievable.
Yeah, so you get the Pulte homes behind it, and then
Uh-huh.
in front, Winslow Lane, you have 2 50 unit buildings side by side. And
Mhm.
then on that same complex, you're gonna have a couple duplexes and a couple 3 unit townhomes.
Mhm.
So we're busy.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
It's a lot. It's a lot of units.
Mhm.
Okay, it seems like they're just, I mean, Bob, you're saying if in these developments, something is going to happen like a walking trail or a playground, how would we even hear about that? What mechanism is there for us to kind of stay on top of these things? Is it right now the plans are right there? I mean, how far developed are these? Nobody's broken ground yet on anything, right?
Snow Road has not broken ground. It would be going in front of the zoning board of appeals if they're 40Bs. So I think I can talk to the ZBA secretary and I could ask her to inform the committee when these meetings are up for hearings, and maybe somebody could watch it or attend it. They are by Zoom. Or somebody, when the material is submitted, then somebody can come in and take a look at it or look at it online. And if there is anything that we want to comment on, then that's how we would do it. And again, I don't think we would get anything on the inside of the units. It'd be pretty hard for the contractor or the developer to start rearranging whatever he spent lots of money on in designing. But I think we have a good shot on something on the outside if they're offering any type of amenities that you think our committee could give some input on.
A like example would be apartments designated for disabled individuals.
That's already done. I don't think we're gonna get the numbers higher.
Oh, okay.
I think what we could get is maybe something on the outside if they were doing. I don't think any of them are doing pools, but if they're doing pools, they have to be handicap accessible, right? There has to be a lift to
Yeah.
do whatever they have to do, right? But if they were putting in a playground, maybe we have a say in that. If they're putting in some sort of walking trails, maybe we can see what they're doing and offering, and we could weigh in on that.
Bob, question for you. Regarding the sort of standardization of how whatever ratios of 1 and 2 units there are, is it partly because that when you're dealing with assuming, let's say, a flat footprint, that these blueprints get recycled, and so they already have identified which are the ones in the twos already that
It's not a cut and paste. They spend a lot of money engineering and drawing these plans. So.
right, but what I'm saying is that if you have a building in one town, in another town, and with equal footprints, that you may have a twin,
Oh,
let's
absolutely.
say.
Absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
they don't have to go back to the drawing board, that they can simply apply the specs of one in Auburn to one in Charlton to one in Grafton.
Absolutely, because,
Okay.
Pulte, great company to work with. This 50-unit building is probably built all over the country.
Okay.
Because they're not going to, expend all this money drawing a building just for Grafton. They're gonna spend all that money and put a boilerplate in, and then they're gonna modify it for every municipality they're going into, only to make sure that it meets its design criteria, but the main building is the blueprint is not changing.
All right. So that's why to create additional 1 and 2 units would really go against that grain.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that because it's already done.
Okay.
That's why I said your meat and potatoes, if we were gonna weigh in and try to do something, is on the outside of the building, because that is all unique to whatever area that you're in.
Okay.
I do have a heart out of 8, so I have to go. Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
Thanks for
See you next
coming.
month.
Bye, Catherine. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks, Catherine.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I think we're almost done. Is there any other new business items we haven't included? Okay, if there's nothing else for tonight, I think could have a motion to adjourn.
so move.
I'll make that. Go ahead.
Okay, so Bob, you made the motion and
I
Paul,
made the motion.
I
Okay.
second.
any second? Okay. All in favor, Christy Proctor.
Aye.
Okay, Roger Trahan,
Bye.
Paul Letourneau,
Aye.
Bob Berger,
Aye.
Alexis Henry, I, and we are adjourned at 8:01 PM. All right.